Meeting is live streamed. Okay, got it. Okay.
We
We're
are
out now.
on.
All right. Yes. Hello, everyone. Sorry if you wondered what just happened. If you're listening still in, we had an unusual glitch, unusual for our tech team. We just suddenly lost connection all around. So yeah. So where was I? Yes, we're talking about the wonderful things Venerable Tender has contributed this evening. All the wonderful things our dear brothers and sisters of the Sangha have contributed to these prayers today, and for 18, 20 months now since we started. And of course, all the wonderful support that you have shown us um, in support on YouTube, on Zoom, messages that were coming in, the feedback that you have provided to individual leads. So thank you very much for all the wonderful things and support and making this community what it is today, truly a global project in which many like-minded beings come together for the benefit of other beings. So thank you very much for all your efforts and support, and thank you to Chenrezig Institute for getting us back online so swiftly. Wouldn't have known where to start now, but no, thank you very much. That's why it's always good to have a wonderful team in the background who make it all possible. So we can talk as much as we like here. If we haven't got the wonderful people in the tech team, our words just fall on empty ground. So thank you very much for all the wonderful support there and swift action. So if we just take a moment to take a few deep breaths. Oh, bless. And Ginny, if you're listening, sorry, we got you. We lost you. Hopefully you're listening in. I'm sure you are. So thanks for all the wonderful support. And I meant it that some of our supporters seem to be really, really, really dedicated to making sure that our leads are being supported and that prayers are being shared and passed on, for vast majority of the 24 hours that we are on air. So thank you very much for all your wonderful dedication and inspirations. So if we take a few deep breaths and settle the mind. If we think about our own individual motivations for being here, especially now sort of in the closing stages of this prayerathon. One of the quick ways of checking one's motivation is through the 3 levels of motivation. Easy to remember, easily done. And when people say, oh, I forgot to do it in the morning, that's all right. Then check at lunchtime, and then check again in the evening. Check throughout the day how you're doing. So it's great. And it also allows us, makes adjustments for our own fallibility in this body and the way we have been conditioned for so many lifetimes. Today, as much as possible, I will not harm other beings with the actions of my body, speech, and mind. Today, as much as possible, I will benefit beings in whatever way I can. Today, as much as possible, I will generate bodhicitta. May all the actions of my body, speech, and mind be imbued with this profound motivation. Bodhicitta, the unconditional love for all beings, wishing them to be happy and free from suffering, irrespective of who they are, what they have done. His Holiness stresses the point of a mother's compassion towards her child, which we depend so much. when we're young. And Mercedes Sosa had a beautiful song called Los Manos de mi Madre, and within it there's a beautiful verse. My mother's hands mean to me an open sky and a yearned memory, warm wrecks during the winters. They give themselves warmly, noble, sincere, clean of all. How would the hands of he who is moved by hatred be like? If we listen to that verse very closely, it's a noble. Mother's hands are described in many ways as noble, clean, and giving themselves freely, unconditionally, feeding, cleaning, cooking, all sorts, whatever's needed, the hands will provide. Tucking in the child at night with a warm blanket, the warmth and comfort that we get from these. Hence the question is well phrased. What would the hands of he who is moved by hatred be like? We all wish to be safe and secure, loved, and free from harm. And when we go for the motivation before we start the prayers, we call upon all mother sentient beings. Let's recall that all sentient beings have been mothers to us from beginningless lifetimes and will be so in future again. Likewise, we have been mothers to them and will be in future. So let's use our hands wisely and with warmth and with kindness. And let's wrap them around all sentient beings with love and compassion, unconditionally. Offer the help where we can give it. All sentient beings, my mothers who infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Hirams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Hirams, and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our minds, the Dharmakaya. Having called upon all mother sentient beings to join us in taking refuge, the Guru is pleased that so many have answered the call. And the Guru smiles, and as the Guru smiles, purifying light nectar is being poured right into us with intensity, cleaning away all negative karma and delusions. Feeling the compassion and the unconditional love that's being shared with us. We look around, we see all mother sentient beings enjoying the same bliss. True kindness, true compassion, true love. We must recall that through the actions of our body, speech, and mind, we have created suffering in the past. And some of that by intention, some of it unintentionally, through ignorance, fear, pride. May we make the pledge that from now on we engage in wholesome action to benefit mother sentient beings in whichever way we can. And as much as possible, we will do so, according to our training, understanding, and skill. And because we have been conditioned over many lifetimes to act a certain way, some things will come easy, others will take time to adjust. So if we trip up, as long as we recognize that we made a mistake, we will acknowledge, we will apologize, we will do what we can to not repeat that mistake again. So as we recite the Mani mantra, visualize how you continue receiving that compassion light from the Guru, and you're being cleansed from all negative karma. And Om again represents body, speech, and mind in its defiled form, but also the holy aspect of the Guru itself. In order to transform to the holy aspect of body, speech, and mind, we have to acquire wisdom and compassion, Mani and Padma, and combine those in Om. So we do a couple of rounds of Manis. O Mani Padme Hum, 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 O Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani. Oh, Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani. Oh, Mani Padme, Mani Padme. Oh, Mani Padme, Mani Padme. Oh, Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani Padme. Oh, Mani Padme, Mani Padme, Mani Padme. Oh, Mani Padme, Om, Mani Padme, Om, Mani Padme, Om, Mani Padme, Om, Mani Padme, Om. Having acknowledged our faults through the actions of our body, speech, and mind, and having made the pledge to engage in wholesome actions from now on, having taken refuge in the Guru and recited many Mani mantras, maybe visioning ourselves as pure and holding on to the pure state, may we now recite the main prayer of Thangtong Gyalpo. May we recite these prayers for the benefit of other sentient beings. May all the sick be restored to good health. May vaccines and treatments be found for all diseases and pandemics. May those who have entered the body or about to enter the body have swift transition in favor of rebirth, and ideally in the Pure Lands. May all those who experience hardships be given whatever resources necessary to overcome those hardships and be reinstated in a state of happiness that is free from suffering. May all the diseases that in the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions such as the harms of class bitterness and the Buddhas not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in an instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases. The mere sound of whose names differ beings as though they have been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings they are due to disturbances of the four elements depriving the body mind of every happiness be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. For the compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that tear in the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of caste, bitterness, and the Buddhas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind. It means not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, in the sound of whose name stand our beings as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that come suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings now due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body mind of every happiness, be totally pacified, and may the body mind of radiance and power be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. One last time. May all the diseases that tear in the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of caste, bitterness, and the Buddhas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, that like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind, and remains not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases. May sound of whose names therefore beings as though they have been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that come suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings now due to disturbances of the four elements deprive the body mind of every happiness be totally pacified, and may the body mind have radiance and power be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May we dedicate. We are dedicated to the long life and well-being of all mother sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings meet the Buddha Dharma and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. May we be the cause for them to achieve all this. May we dedicate to the long life and well-being of all our brothers and sisters around the world of the Sangha community, irrespective of their traditions, for keeping the flame of the Dharma alive by engaging in studies, giving teachings, and preserving the teachings and carrying out translation work to ensure that the Dharma remains accessible to those who seek it. May they all live long and healthy lives, never be separated from the Dharma and virtuous friend, and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. May we continue to enjoy their presence in this in our future lifetimes. May we dedicate to the long life and well-being of all our precious brothers and sisters in the lay community, who through their kind support, giving their time, expertise, and financial offerings to ensure that Dharma centers and monasteries and projects can flourish and be realized for the benefit of all mother Indian beings. May they never be separated from the community of the Sangha, the teachings, and virtuous friends, and may they achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible in this and our future lifetimes. May we dedicate to the long life and well-being of all our precious gurus, who, if they haven't done so already, may achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. May we continue to be guided by the love and kindness and wisdom in this and all future lifetimes. May we particularly dedicate to the long life and well-being of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, a great beacon of love and compassion in these turbulent times. How fortunate we are to be alive in a human form, to access his teachings and follow his advice. May we continue to do so in this and all future lifetimes. May all his holy wishes be swiftly fulfilled, and may we see him be reunited with his people in Tibet. May we also dedicate to the long life and well-being of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who has tasked us with these prayers for benefit of all mother Indian beings, and by doing so has brought the community of the IMI Sangha on a global scale much closer together, planting the seeds for close connection in this lifetime, but also for future lifetimes still to come. May we continue to fulfill Rinpoche's wishes and benefit mother Indian beings in whichever way we can. May we continue to be guided by his wisdom and dedication in this in our future lifetimes. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exceptions into the enlightened state. May the supreme jewel of Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow. May that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Due to all the merits of the 3 times collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless Indian beings, May all wars, sickness, famine, torture, poverty, and economic problems in this world, and all dangers of earth, whatever I win, be pacified immediately. And may perfect peace and happiness prevail in everyone's hearts and lives. May the Buddha Dharma last for a long time, and may the sentient beings in this world meet the Buddha Dharma and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, and all the merits of the 3 times collected by the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side. May I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve that state of full enlightenment which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who is completely empty of existing from my own side. The long life prayers for His Holiness and Lama Zopa. Gangri Rawe Kerwe Shingam, the Pendang Deva Malu Jungwe, Chenrezig Gyalpo Yi Shape Site Badu, thank you, Ho Chi. Tübse Chang Jing Yam Gen Gewe, Ten Jing Gen Pewe Kun Zo Do Po Tse Jo Sun Kerwe Leg Mun Tudu. Padak Sok Du Jegun Du Shaten Show. Thank you very much, everyone who joined me in this session. Thank you very much for your kind support this weekend of Prayerathon. We have 2 more leads to follow. One is Venerable Angie already waiting in the wings, and then after Venerable Trinley, who will be running up this particular prayer-a-thon. So thank you very much for your kind support, to Chenrezig Institute for looking after us so well, all the wonderful Sangha for giving their time so freely, each and everyone out there listening to us live or later on as a recording may have benefit from our sessions. And thank you very much for all the kindness that you have shared with us over the past 18 to 19 months. So thank you very much indeed. Have a lovely week, and see you all next week. And I'll hand over to Venerable Angie. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad, not too bad.
Great. Can you hear me okay? Because last week there was a problem with my volume. So I've moved where I'm sitting in the house because I think I was too far away from the from the Wi-Fi.
Could be. I
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
Okay, good. Hopefully, because Aldo and the Institute said it wasn't, there was something going in and out, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's fine this week.
Well, we had our technical problem already, so I'm sure you will be fine.
Okay. No, I think it was from my side. It wasn't their side. There was something going on with I was a bit too far away.
It doesn't matter which side. We had the gremlin today. Gremlin is gone. We're sorted.
So you had a bit of rest after your weekend with Venerable Rubina?
Yes, we had the teaching still Sunday, meeting on Monday. Venerable went to London on Tuesday, so we had a few days off, and but you know what? It's just wonderful. She brings that, particularly now after the centers have been shut for such a long time. You need that energy, and she's so rich, and it's great advice that she has to part with, because like some of you who travel a lot and see many centers, it's great to see what the feedback is. And but yeah, it was a very, very enjoyable weekend of teachings. And yes, I mean, it's you're trying to get everything in a fair state, and that takes a bit of effort. But again, I can't remember. I'm sure it was one of the lamas saying, if it's too easy, where's the merit? But I mean, we were lucky. I mean, we had smooth runnings in general. But she has so much wisdom to share, hasn't she? She has so much in-depth knowledge, which is, when she said, I'll send you some notes, to be shared with somebody good. Like, for some, this is a book. I find that fascinating, absolute fascinating. No, she's a little firecracker in the Dharma, and I think we should be grateful that our teachers can be traveling again. Like Ling Rinpoche, I think he was in Singapore just recently. So hopefully, we see more of our teach us back
He
on
was
the
in
road.
Singapore. He was in Singapore.
Was it Ling Rinpoche? Or was he Singapore? Where was he? He was traveling just
He
recently,
was
wasn't he?
somewhere, that's right. He was in Thailand, was he
Oh,
not? But he
Thailand.
must
Oh,
have been,
wow. Okay.
yeah. But he might have went to another centre. He was doing
Yeah.
something more
Yeah.
kind of, you know, with other Buddhist traditions in Thailand, I think.
Yeah, unless I saw something being shared by Singapore, you know, that's why I got a bit confused. But yeah, no, he was sort of he was out on the road, which was great, you know. So it's and how
So
things your
Rinpoche
end.
said, do you remember? I don't know if you heard that Rinpoche said one time we need 100 Rabinas in the FPMT.
Yeah.
True.
So
You know?
yeah. I mean, she, you know, she's. I mean, again, what it was really nice, and I think people we were so used to having things talking around things, and she's very clear, you know, and. And I think if we all would be more open and straightforward, you know, I think in many ways the world could be a better place, because we don't want to offend, we don't want to say this and how would it be? But if we're clear and honest, you know, and it comes from a good place, then it doesn't matter, you know. And I think that's what it is. But yeah, she's God, I don't know where she gets this energy from. But I mean, she's just, you know, I was just crikey, she's quick on her pecs, isn't she? And no, bless. I mean, if she's listening in, Venerable, we love you dearly. So but yeah, the energy is it's just astonishing. And if she's not doing that, she's in another Zoom session, isn't she? And then she's doing the little podcasts, and she's honestly, the energy is just absolutely fascinating. You know, but yeah, no, sure, you know, looking forward, you know, to welcome her back, and hopefully, you know, hopefully you come to the UK at some point, and then we get to welcome you. And
I'm not much of a teacher, to be honest with you, you know, but
no,
I will come and visit and do one little thing or something.
I understand you're very strict with nungnes. We need that.
Oh, nungnes, yeah.
Yes, here you go. We can get you to do nungnes then.
Yeah, that's good. Well, of course, we've done nungne together. You did nungne. We did in Jamyang, eh?
I don't know whether I don't think I did a nungne with you.
Oh, really? Oh, I see.
No, I think I missed you just because Steph took over, didn't you? You did some with Steph, and then
actually, Steph has done a lot of nungnes in the UK.
Yeah.
She's been the main person. I just happened to be there for a year, so I think I did one or two. I didn't do so many, you know, but I did a couple. Because I had a commitment to do 100 nungnes, you know. So I got kind of familiar with the practice.
Yes. I mean, it's, you know, it's quite interesting when we talk about 100 nungnes and then we think about Venerable Charles.
No, it's unbelievable.
You know, I mean, but is it? He takes some. He does 108 in a row, and then on his what is the rest time? He goes out and teaches nungnes, isn't he? He's a really sort of nungne man, and it's great how you find your practice. And really work through that, isn't it? And I mean, give him his due. I mean, he's cheap to feed, isn't he? Nungne people are cheap to feed. No, but no, bless. No, I hope he's well. Anyway, Venerable.
Thank you so much.
Look after yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dancho.
Bye-bye.
So Aldo, are we okay this week? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I stopped the microphone.
Yeah, okay, great. All sentient beings, let's take just take a minute to renew your motivation. Again, reminding ourselves that just like myself, all sentient beings who are under the control of karma and delusion, we're all in samsara. You know, our minds are covered by obscuration, and especially the ignorance grasping at true existence. And so because of this, we experience various sufferings and problems in the life. And so once we recognize this within ourselves, that we're under the control of karma and delusion, and that's why we experience different types of suffering, then we understand that the purpose of our life really is to liberate ourselves from that through the development of the mental continuum of the mind, where all the suffering and problem come, but where equally all the potential is to develop all the qualities of wisdom and compassion, to liberate ourselves from this karma and delusion, from samsara. and also to develop all the qualities on the Bodhisattva path, all the different levels of bodhicitta, to achieve full enlightenment. So this is, ultimately the purpose of our life, trying to do this with every action in your body, speech and mind, making it virtuous, making it the cause of happiness up to enlightenment for ourselves and all sentient beings. So equally, we're doing this practice with that motivation, bringing all sentient beings with us, and particularly praying that, as we can see in the world, the effects of the COVID are starting to be pacified. So for that to continue to happen, for that to be completely pacified in the world, as well as other epidemics or harms for the elements, the outer element through water, fire, earth, through wind element, for those all to be pacified. Harm for the inner elements that causes sickness and disease, for those also to be pacified. And so all beings can have all the positive causes and conditions to develop the mind and virtue up to enlightenment. So we start with the motivation. So again, usually what I'm going to do this week is recite this prayer, liberating Sakya from disease 2 times, and each time do 500 Om Mani Padme Hums. So we'll do 1,000 altogether, Om Mani Padme Hums. And again, recite the prayer pacifying the danger of weapons, and the prayer pacifying from fear of famine in the world. And then at the end, for about the last 10 minutes, it takes a good 10 minutes to recite the King of Prayers. For my Dharma sister Rowena, who passed away, and for anyone who's passed away recently, for them to have a good future rebirth and to be born ultimately in the Pure Lands, and if they can't achieve that, to have a human rebirth, and all the causes and conditions to develop their mind on the spiritual path up to enlightenment. So we're going to do these 3 prayers and then finish with the dedication of the King of Prayers for those who have passed. All sentient beings equal to space go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings equal to space go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings equal to space go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Mani be me, 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 mani be me. Oh, mani be me, 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 mani be me. Oh, mani be me home. All the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harm of spirits, illnesses, and ailments, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading a being to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings being harmed by acute, chronic, and other infectious diseases, the mere sound of whose names terrifies beings, as though they're being placed inside the mouth of Yama, Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be harmed by the 8,000 class of harmful interferers, 360 evil spirits harmed suddenly, 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of four elements, depriving the body and mind of every pleasure, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the Triple Gem, by the power of Dakinis, Dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the strength of the infallibility of karma and its results, may these many dedication and prayers be fulfilled as soon as they are made. So we'll do one more time. Maybe because of the time, we'll just do a couple of rounds of our Mani Padme Hum. All sentient beings equal to space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings equal to space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings equal to space, go for refuge to precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of gurus, meditational deities, and dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. Oh, mani be me, 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 mani. Oh, mani be me, 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 mani. Oh, mani be me home. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harm of spirits, illnesses, and elements, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases, like butcher leading a being to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings being harmed by acute, chronic, and other infectious diseases, the mere sound of whose names terrifies beings, as though they're being placed inside the mouth of Yama, Lord of Death. May all embodied beings being harmed by the 8,000 class of harmful interferers, 360 evil spirits harmed suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of four elements, depriving the body and mind of every pleasure, be totally pacified, and may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the Gurus and the Triple Gem, by the power of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors, and guardians, and by the strength of the infallibility of karma and its results, may these many dedication and prayers be fulfilled as soon as they are made. So now we'll do a prayer for pacifying dangers of weapons. Om Mani Padme Hum. Great loving, victorious one, I, sublime, compassionate I, looking one. Wrathful, victorious Hayagriva, perfect pure Tara, and so forth. Objects of refuge, whose holy names eliminate all dangers upon mere hearing. Who are compassionate in nature, please pay attention to me. When the sentient beings at the time of quarrelling and of flourishing in the 5 degenerations are tormented by fighting and intense suffering from the explosion of a great ocean of evil karma and jealousy, please dry this ocean up by the strength of your transcendental wisdom and compassion. Also by letting fall a great nectar rain of loving kindness on the transmigration beings whose hatred is a blazing fire, please grant your blessings for happiness and auspiciousness to increase by the recognizing each other as being like parents. You are defeating the multitude of vicious evil spirits who, by entering someone's mental continuum, change instantly into the mind of an asura. From now on, may they never roam in this region. Please also cause all the sentient beings who have died in war from now on to abandon all evil karma, the cause and result, and be miraculously reborn in the blissful land. Please also lead all others to that pure land. Please cause all those who are born and die to have long lives, not have sicknesses, to stop all their quarrelling and fighting, and enjoy a life in the 10 virtues. Please make rainfall at the right time, harvest to always be good, and auspiciousness to increase in all habitants and for all inhabitants. By the ultimate reality which is pure in nature, unbetraying cause and result, which has that ultimate reality, and the compassionate Guru, mind-sealed deity, and rare sublime ones, may my pure and extensive prayers be accomplished. And now the prayer to pacify the fear of famine. Having generated the mind aspiring to the highest supreme enlightenment in order to truly liberate all infinite living beings, you, the compassionate, victorious one, completed the 2 accumulations. Assemblies of guiding Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, hearers, Prachika Buddhas, Gurus, Yidams, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians of the 10 directions, the actual wealth gods, the lords of treasure, along with your retinues. Think of these protectorless living beings of the degenerate times with love, and then in order to truly protect these embodied beings, who are tormented by the sufferings of hunger, thirst, and poverty, let fall a rain of whatever attractive enjoyments are needy, jewels, food, wealth, grains, bedding, and so forth on the spoils land of snows. Please pacify the harms of 4 elements, untimely wind, fire, drought, rain, floods, and so forth, and may nourishing grains from crops, harvests, and so forth ripen and increase like the dew during the age of completion. By the force of having made extensive requests with strong entreaties through the force of loving compassion, the being of sickness, fighting, and famine be pacified, and may we possess a happy long life free from illness. Through the great compassion of the victorious ones and their children, the force of infallible truth of cause and effect, may the teachings of the victorious ones spread and increase, and may all living beings swiftly attain the highest enlightenment. Okay, so we'll do, to finish, the King of Prayers. So the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. As I say, for all those who have passed away, there's also a nun, Venerable Paudrin in Taiwan, she passed away. Also Emily, who teaches within FPMT, she's an FPMT teacher, her mother passed away. I don't remember her name, but I don't have it here, but anyway, to pray, dedicate for her mother. And as I said, for Rowena Mayer, who was a long-term director in Santa Fe Center, Thupten Norbuling, she passed away as well. So for each of them to be born in a pure land or to have a perfect human rebirth. I bow down to thee, full Arya Manjushri, you lines among humans gone to freedom in the present, past, and future. In the wills of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. In every atom are Buddhas, numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all you want bliss. Beautiful flowers, regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress, fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder, heaped ties, Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array I offer to you, victorious ones. My transcendent offerings, peals and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment. Sorry, I lost the page. Anger and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, healers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions who have attained a Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions and all you gone to freedom in the past accept my offering. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas, surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath a Bodhi tree. May as many beings exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice the bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. In following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas and perfecting the practice of a bodhisattva, may always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. I teach the Dharma in the language of gods and every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission each negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world, free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as a lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. I ease the suffering in the lower realms, in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening, and be a worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of being, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose past is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspiration and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor, never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, mastered and circled by bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddhas and genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless pristine wisdom and positive potential. On an atom I shall see, Buddha feels numberless as atoms, and conceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field practicing activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus I'm continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the varied tendencies of beings. For strength of understanding, I have plunged into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma of all Buddhas and 3 times gone to freedom who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons. I will enter into all lanes of 3 times in but a fraction of a second. On one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future lying among humans, and with the power of illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands, present, past, and future. Likewise, I'll shed an array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the fiery presence of all my guides, those lights of the world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, find the perfect peace. I achieve the power of swift magical emanation, the power to lead the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may achieve the perfect power of awakening. Purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at the root, diffusing the power of interfering forces, I shall perfect the power of the bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds, may I free an ocean of beings, may I clearly see an ocean of Dharma, and may I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities, may I fulfill an ocean of aspirations, may I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas, and may I practice without discouragement from an ocean of beings. To awaken fully through this bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of awakening practice. The Buddhas gone to freedom in 3 times every day. In order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all embracing good, the elder brothers, sons and daughters of Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate just as the skillful Samantabhadra with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to aspirations of Manjushri for this bodhisattva practice of all embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or frozen future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, I am actualized infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space, likewise limitless are living beings. Thus limitless are karma inflictions, may my aspiration reach be limitless as well. When we offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds and 10 directions, and we offer during eons numberless atoms to the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and longs for highest awakening, gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious bliss potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration to the bodhisattva way will be free of all rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha infinite light. And even this very human life will be nourished by happiness and of all conducive circumstances, without waiting long will come like Samantha himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family attributes and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces, and the sleeping teachers in all 3 worlds will make offering. Going quickly to the noble body tree and sitting there to benefit beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. I have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripening of self comprehended only by a Buddha, holding in mind by teaching, reading, and reciting this aspiration of bodhisattva practice. In order to train, just like the hero Manjushri knows reality is as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well, we completely dedicate all this goodness just as he did. With that dedication, which is praised as great as well, Buddha's golden freedom in 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness to the attainment of bodhisattva practice. When the moment of death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations, the light perceiving Amitabha, I may go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, I may actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus, in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening direct from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions, fulfilling the emanations by the power of wisdom. For even the small virtue I've accumulated by offering this prayer, the bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential by dedicating this prayer to Samantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers from samsara, through the accomplishment of all scriptures, dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. And we'll just do the long life prayers for His Holiness Rinpoche to finish. Loganira ve gorve jingam di pendan de wama jungwene Chenrezig Institute Shapesi de bardu dengyur shi ludu siljan jinjam gong yelwi tenzing yombeli chosen nurvele mondu Ata sodu gondu jaten shu. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure Venerable Chinru is ready to go.
Hello, Venerable Angie.
Hello.
How are you today?
Well, fine, thank you. And you?
Oh, very well. We had a lovely teaching by Geshe Sotram in the Gompa at Langri Tangpa Centre yesterday. It is so nice to start to get back to face-to-face teachings.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, rejoice. Yeah, that's nice.
So soon we'll all be able to travel the world and go to each other's centres and see. Be wonderful, won't it?
It's exciting.
Well, thank you so much, Venerable Angie. See you again soon.
Enjoy. Bye, Aldo. Bye, Aldo.
Bye. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Aldo.
Thank you for your prayer.
Good morning, Aldo. Nice to see you.
It's a very hard moment near war and so difficult for humanity. I think it's very important to be together for these prayers and support benefit for all mankind. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning here in Brisbane, Australia, 9 a.m. A lovely warm morning. Had lots of rain during the night, but it's going to be a warm, sunny day. As Aldo just expressed, very, very, very difficult time in the world. So many things happening. So many people living in fear. Yes, it's a difficult world that we live in, and sometimes we can feel quite powerless. And by doing practices like this, doing prayers, keeping the best results for all beings as our aspiration for our prayers is really, really important. We all have personal challenges, and sometimes we might, feel overwhelmed by our own personal challenges, but we should always stop and think about every single other being. So much pain, so much suffering, as I said, so much fear. The prospect of war, the difficulties that COVID-19 is still presenting in the world, the prospect of, all of those things that, COVID could still bring about, or war could bring about, food shortages and, death. Such a lot. So we need to take a breath. We need to stop. We need to reflect on wherever we are at this moment and be still and think about what we have at the moment, what we can be grateful for, how, if nothing else, we have the power to make aspirational prayer. And prayer is not, it is never wasted. There is such power in prayer. If it's done with a sincere heart, it goes out into the world, never dissipates, swirls and swirls around. So we need to put as much powerful aspirational prayer out there in the world to heal the world. And, that's part of what we do in this practice. This is the importance of this practice. This is why Lama Zopa Rinpoche has asked us to do this practice, to put that powerful aspiration out in the world. So, and we can think that, whenever we have challenges in our life, whenever there are challenges in the world, they are due to karma. It's easy to say it's this person's fault, it's that government's fault, it's the fault of this, fault of that. But we can also look at karma, cause and effect, and think, well, my own karma is the cause that I am here in this place right now. Whether I am unwell, whether I am unsafe, whether I am happy, whether I am sad, we blame our own past actions. And then reflecting on what our teachers have taught us, what the Lord Buddha taught, everything is empty on its own side. Everything is a dependent arising, dependent on cause and effect. So we can start my session today with the recitation of the heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I always like to end with a dedication, sealing the practice with emptiness. So today we will also start reflecting on emptiness. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on massive Vulture's Mountain in Rajagriha together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the matter of the perfection of wisdom, the matter of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared: Taida Om Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgati Bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. And now we can go to our practice. The Vajra speech of Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo. the blessed prayer known as liberating Sakya from disease. Such a powerful prayer, so beneficial in times of great distress. And we start with the motivation in the form of going for refuge. This form of going for refuge was given by Arya Avalokiteshvara to Kapapaljo Sherab and by him to Mahasiddha Thangtong Gyalpo. Afterwards, it provided infinite benefits for living beings. Let's recite the motivation 7 times today. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. All sentient beings, my mothers who are infinite like space, go for refuge to the precious Guru Buddha. We go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. We go for refuge to the assembly of Gurus, Yidams and Dakinis. We go for refuge to the empty clarity of our own minds, the Dharmakaya. Now we can recite the Mani mantra, the mantra of compassion. So powerful. As we recite the mantra, visualize the syllables flow out from your mouth, out into the environment, healing every single being in your own environment. They flow out into the suburb, into the city, into the state, into the country, into the world, continuing to swirl around, healing every being that feels their resonance. So powerful. And we will recite one mala. And we will do it fairly slowly. And really think that every single syllable is doing its work. Om Mani Padme Hum Mani Padme Hum Mani Padme Hum Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum Mani Padme Hum Om 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 Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. And now we can go to the actual prayer. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the Buddhas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the Dakini Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the Buddhas, not occur in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. May the body and mind have radiance and power and be endowed with long life, good health and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. May all the diseases that sadden the minds of sentient beings, that result from karma and temporary conditions, such as the harms of graha spirits, illnesses, and the Buddhas, not occur again in the realms of the world. May whatever sufferings there are from life-threatening diseases that, like a butcher leading an animal to be slaughtered, separate the body from the mind in a mere instant, not occur in the realms of the world. May all embodied beings be unharmed by acute, chronic, and other epidemic diseases, the mere sounds of whose names terrify beings, as though they had been placed inside the mouth of Yama, the Lord of Death. May all embodied beings be unharmed by the 80,000 classes of interferers, the 360 evil spirits that harm suddenly, the 424 diseases, and so forth. May whatever sufferings there are due to disturbances of the four elements, depriving the body and mind of every happiness, be totally pacified. And may the body and mind have radiance and power, and be endowed with long life, good health, and well-being. By the compassion of the gurus and the three jewels, by the power of the dakinis, Dharma protectors and guardians, and by the power of the truth of the infallibility of karma and its results, may all these dedications and prayers be fulfilled. Now we can go to our dedications. But as usual, I like to read the prayer from the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, the extract from chapter 10 of that amazing volume of work by Master Shantideva. May all beings everywhere plagued by sufferings of body and mind obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other for as long as space remains, and for as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of the 3 times created by myself and others, and by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, may I, my family members, all the students and benefactors of the FPMT, and all sentient beings be able to meet perfectly qualified Mahayana virtuous friends in all our future lives. From our side, may we always see them as enlightened and always perform only actions most pleasing to their holy minds. May we always fulfill their holy wishes instantly. Due to the merits accumulated over the 3 times by myself and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, which are empty from their own side, may I, who is empty from its own side, achieve the state of enlightenment, who is empty from its own side, and lead, which is empty from its own side, and lead all sentient beings who are empty from their own side to that state as quickly as possible by myself alone. The long life prayers. Okay. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Gyalpo, please remain until samsara ends. Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduous moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjanath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels, Saviour of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. want to say thank you to everybody. The IMI, Chenrezig Institute, who bring this practice together every weekend and do so week in, week out. Thank you, Venerable Damcho, for all of the hard work, getting all of the schedules together, doing your wonderful newsletter. The people who work late into the night, through the night, in the early mornings. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all of the people who listen and join in. Thank you so much, Aldo. And thank you. I know lots of people, listen to it throughout the day. Thank you so much. May you all be well. Yes. Keep well, Aldo. Keep safe.
The practitioner of the small hour. Thank you, Trilla.
Well, may everybody keep safe and well till next weekend at least, we can do this again.
Next weekend.
The next weekend. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.